Are you always this slow?
I'm just trying to understand.
How hard can it be? I have to explain everything twice to you.
I'm doing my best.
God, you're an idiot!
Sorry.
Are you always this slow?
Are you always this rude?
Honestly, sometimes New York feels like a daycare for idiots.
Funny, I was just thinking I might be selling a hot dog to one.
God, you're completely useless.
And you're an arrogant bitch.
Opposite reactions, same mistake. When someone disrespects us, most people fall into one of two extremes. They either collapse into humiliation or explode into aggression. One reaction says, "You're right for disrespecting me. I'm sorry." The other says, "You're right for disrespecting me, and now I'm going to hurt you even more." Most people believe those are the only two options. They're wrong. In the next few minutes, you'll learn the third way, a simple technique that allows you to stay calm, protect your dignity, and stop other people's emotional chaos from infecting your mind. Because the person who doesn't submit and doesn't lose control in the face of disrespect often earns something neither aggression nor humiliation can produce: respect. Not only from the people watching, but sometimes even from the very person who disrespected them. And perhaps most importantly, they don't lose respect for themselves. We're going to call this technique the silent no. Imagine a little girl who offers a boy candy every day at the playground. One day it's red, another day it's blue, another day it's green. The boy usually takes it, but one day she offers him a piece of candy that is black. It smells terrible. It looks rotten. The boy doesn't argue. He doesn't get angry. He looks at the candy. He looks at the girl. He pauses. He doesn't say a word, but his silence says, "No. No, I don't want this. No, I don't accept this." He says no with his silence, and he goes back to playing. Not every offer has to be accepted. The same is true when someone disrespects you. Most people believe they only have two choices: accept the disrespect or accept it and fight back. But there is a third option. You can refuse the offer without accepting the humiliation, without responding with more aggression. You simply stay there, calmly, observing. Most people don't realize what's really happening. The moment someone insults them, they hand over the keys. They allow another person to dictate their reactions. And from that moment on, they're no longer choosing their behavior. They're being controlled by someone else's emotional outburst. Not every offer has to be accepted, and that is where the silent no begins. Imagine a bouncer standing outside a very elegant nightclub. Only people who meet certain standards of behavior are allowed inside. A drunk man arrives. He's shouting. He wants to get into the nightclub. He tries to force his way in. The bouncer stops him in his tracks. The bouncer doesn't apologize to him. He doesn't argue with him, and he doesn't attack him either. He simply says, "No." Calmly, firmly. Because not everyone gets into the nightclub. And the same is true for your mind. Not every insult deserves entry. Not every emotional outburst deserves entry. Only those that meet your standards. And that bouncer has a name. Your name. The job of the bouncer is to keep certain things out. Insults, humiliation, provocations. The bouncer has the power to stop anyone who doesn't meet the club's standards. That's why he doesn't need to shout, and he doesn't need to shrink himself either. He simply says, "No." Sometimes silence is the most effective way to say it. A silent no. This insult doesn't get in. A silent no. This humiliation doesn't get in. A silent no. This provocation doesn't get in. Respond to disrespect with silence, with a silent no. Let's break down the silent no into a few simple practical steps. First, Stop. Do not answer immediately. Second, stay silent. Not for half a second. Long enough for the other person to hear what they just said. Third, don't break contact. Don't look away. Don't lower your eyes. And don't glare at them with anger either. Stay calm. Your eyes communicate something important. I do not accept this, but I'm not running away from it either. Fourth, let the words land. Let the silence show them that what they said does not get in. The silent no is more than silence. It is silence that lasts long enough for the other person to hear the echo of their own words, long enough for the emotional momentum to break, long enough for them to realize what they just said. Most people rush to fill the silence. Don't. That silence is where the silent no does its work. For many people, the silence is enough. The moment they hear their own words echo back at them, they realize they crossed a line, and they pull back. But even if they don't, the silence has already accomplished something important. It has shown them that you do not accept what they just said, without shouting, without insulting them, without shrinking yourself. Because silence creates pressure. Aggressive people expect rage or submission. They expect movement. They expect the emotional reward that comes from provoking you. But when you calmly pause instead, that reward never comes. And suddenly, they are left alone with their own words. And perhaps most importantly, you are left with your self-respect. And more often than not, the respect of the people watching. And sometimes, even the respect of the very person who disrespected you. Sometimes people hear the silence and correct themselves. Sometimes they hear their own words and pull back. But not everyone does. Some people continue. Some people become even more aggressive. And that changes nothing. Because the purpose of the silent no is not to control them. It is to control yourself. The silent no is not a trick. It is not manipulation. It is a boundary. And if someone repeatedly refuses to respect that boundary, you can end the conversation. But leave the conversation the same way you practiced the silent no, without humiliating yourself and without attacking them in return. No final insult, no revenge, no dramatic exit, just a calm decision. You refuse to continue participating in disrespect. Because protecting your dignity does not require winning the argument. Sometimes it simply means walking away with your self-respect intact. Sure, theory sounds great in a textbook, but real life is messy. So let's look at 3 real-world examples. Pay close attention to the second one. Even when the other person gets more aggressive, the silent no still fulfills its ultimate purpose, protecting you.
You're really going out dressed like that?
What's wrong with it?
Honestly, it looks like you're dressing for every guy except your boyfriend.
Look at her. She doesn't defend herself, and she doesn't attack either. She simply gives him a silent no as her only answer.
What? I'm sorry, that was unfair.
Look, there are moments when the silent no won't magically cure someone who's being completely disrespectful or crossing your boundaries. In fact, they might double down, get petty, and push even harder. But hey, don't miss the point. The silent no was never about controlling their behavior. It was about controlling yourself. It's about refusing to hand over the remote control of your emotional state to someone else's childish disrespect. And honestly, it's in these exact moments, the hardest ones, where the silent no gives you the ultimate training ground for self-mastery and high-stakes social control.
Mom can't be left alone anymore, Claudia. She forgets to take her pills. She's fallen twice this month. And Dad can't manage her and himself at the same time. Someone has to be here full time.
Oh, so that's the story we're going with. Someone has to be here.
How convenient that it's you, in their house, eating their food, spending their money.
It's not like that. I'm not taking anything from them. I'm taking care of them.
Taking care of them? You're a grown woman living off 2 retirees. That's not caretaking, that's freeloading with a nicer name.
Claudia, if I weren't here, one of us would have to quit everything to do this. You know that.
Don't put that on me. You just found the laziest way out and dressed it up as sacrifice. You're not caring for anyone. You're just too comfortable living off mom and dad to go get a life of your own.
Something shifts in Rachel's face. Not hurt exactly, more like a door quietly closing. She doesn't argue. She doesn't defend herself again. She simply looks at Claudia, steady, unblinking, and says nothing. When someone stops explaining themselves, it isn't surrender. It's the moment they've decided the conversation is no longer worth their words.
What, nothing to say? Of course not, because you know it's true. You're a lazy freeloader hiding behind mom and dad's illness so you don't have to actually do anything with your life.
I'm done talking about this today.
That's it? You're just gonna walk away like you always do?
Rachel doesn't turn around. She just keeps walking, calm, composed, gone. The silent no doesn't win the argument. It ends it, on her terms, not theirs.
Hey, actually, my company's hiring for a couple roles that pay way better than what's out there. I could put in a good word for you if you want.
Look, man, you've got a shitty job. Don't start giving me life lessons, okay?
Alex doesn't flinch. He doesn't lean back, doesn't cross his arms, doesn't even blink. He keeps his eyes locked directly on Mark. His face is a completely neutral, calm mask.
Yeah, okay. That was out of line. You offered to help and I threw it back in your face. I'm sorry, man. Seriously, I appreciate the offer.
Appreciate you saying that. Offer's still open whenever you want it.
Final thought.
This is too clean.
I think I'm gonna puke a bit.
When you are unjustly attacked and you respond with matching aggression or submission, you are handing over control of your emotions to someone who hasn't earned it. Master yourself. Reserve the keys to your inner state for those who truly deserve them, not just anyone. Master yourself if you want to lead and genuinely add value to others. If you want to learn more about how to handle verbal aggression and other fascinating topics in practical psychology, subscribe.